again and went out the same way he came in. Meanwhile, Coe slowly regained consciousness and pulled himself to his feet. You remember, gentlemen, that Dr. Dorema said Coe died of an internal hemorrhage. And that is the key to the whole situation. Archer Coe, already a dying man, walked upstairs. And what is even more terrible, he did not know that he had been stabbed. He went to his room and, feeling a little faint probably, he removed his coat and vest and hung them in the closet where we found them. He put on his pajama top and went to the window and raised the shade. Can you imagine the killer's emotions when, from someplace in the apartment house across the vacant lot, he looked over and saw the man he thought he had killed standing there at the window? He knew then that he had to go back and complete his job to save himself. Feeling very faint by now, Archer Coe went from the window to the chair beside his desk, where he sat down. There, he started to remove his shoes. You remember just how we found him. In the very act of removing them, before he could get one of them entirely off, he died. I don't think he ever knew what killed him. Now we come to the most awful part of the tragedy. Brisbane Coe came back to the house with a cleverly worked out plan for killing his brother. He also knew that it was the servants' night out and that he would not be disturbed. He went down the hall to the library, and from the drawer of the desk, he took Archer Coe's own revolver and put it into his pocket. Then, turning out the light on the desk, he went out of the room. He hung his stick over the chair in the hall and tiptoed up the stairs and into Archer Coe's room. He saw his brother sitting in his easy chair, apparently asleep. I can see him tiptoe across the room. And from somewhere just across the desk, he took out the revolver and with careful aim, he pulled the trigger. Meantime, the killer, believing that he had only wounded Archer Coe, came back by the same route to finish his job. Then Brisbane closed the window, lowered the shade, and returning to the body, he carefully placed the gun in Archer's hand, as though it had been suicide. Then he went to the door, and with the two pieces of string, the pins, and the darning needle, he was able to bolt the door on the inside, just as I showed you. A very clever device, gentlemen, which he had discovered in the book of unsolved murders, which we found in his suitcase. Then, gentlemen, Brisbane went on down the stairs, little knowing what awaited him there. The killer mistook Brisbane for Archer Coe and drove the dagger into Brisbane's back. Then, to hide the body, he dragged it into the closet. I doubt if he even discovered his mistake until the next day.
That's great. But who did all that?
Well, you can search me. I'm going screwy.
You can include me in that, Sergeant.
Haven't you got any ideas at all, Vance?
Markham, it's a maze of conflicting clues. Any one of 7 people might have done it.
But we couldn't convict 7 people, Mr. Vance.
You couldn't convict one with the evidence you've got. Gentlemen, I'm afraid we're completely stopped.
Licked.
I hate to admit it, but it looks that way.
Vance, in all the years we've worked together, I never heard you say that before.
I know. I'm sorry, Markham.
Well, what are we going to do about it?
I don't know. Are you sure you checked up on all the alibis?
Every one of them.
And you've gone over the fingerprint situation with your boy?
Yes, sir.
Well, we've slipped up somewhere, Sergeant. But there must be something that we can get our teeth into.
Markham, I suggest that you dismiss this case.
What? Dismiss it?
Yes, turn all the suspects loose.
I can just see all the newspapers in this town screaming for a new district attorney.
Well, we can probably cover you up all right, Mr. Markham. I've said it was suicide all along.
Yes, I know. We could put that solution on it, but I hate to do it. All right, Sergeant. Go ahead. Turn him loose.
Turn him loose?
Yes.
Well, Mr. Vance, this is once we're both stuck.
When you give up, Vance, I'm sunk.
Oh, I haven't given up. I have another idea.
What?
If it works, I'll have your killer for you in half an hour. I'm going to arrange a little meeting with him now.
What? But you let me dismiss all the suspects.
Yeah, that's just what I wanted you to do. Hello? This is Mr. Vance. I hope I haven't disturbed you. Yeah, I wonder if you'd do me a little favor.
Mr. Markham.
Yes.
I'll see you a minute. That suicide story might work all right for Archer Cove, but I forgot all about Brisbane.
Well, never mind about that now. Just release the suspects as I told you.
All right.
That's it. Yes? That's right. At 4:30. And just get him into an argument. Oh, I'll have him with me. I'm depending on his instinct. That's right. Thanks. If we can catch him off his guard, I think he'll give himself away. Come on, Markham. We've got to get there before 4:25.
Mr. Vance. They're in the library now.
Oh, darling, let me help you.
All right, Kathy.
Well, it's the first time we've used bloodhounds in police work since I wore high-button shoes.
And red flannel underwear?
Oh, I always wear red flannel underwear.
So do I.
I want your bridal suite on the Coronia. Sailing at midnight. That's right. Thank you.
Sailing at midnight. Lady MacDonald. Is it the title that dazzles you so much? Or is it the fortune she'll inherit that makes her so attractive, Sir Thomas?
Raymond, are you crazy?
It isn't the first time a fortune has bought a title. It so happens I'm not in need of a fortune. Possibly you are.
Raymond, you've no right to interfere this way.
No right? Well, I'll take that right. You think you're both sailing at midnight? Well, it won't work. You're going all right, Sir Thomas, but you're going alone.
Really?
Yes, and you're going now, or else...
Ah, the poker again, huh?
Take him off! Take him off! No! Take him off! Will you? Will you take him off? Help!
Here, hold him. Why did you kill Archer Cole? Why did you kill him?
I didn't mean to kill him.
But you did, eh?
I tell you, I didn't mean to kill him. He struck me when I told him I wanted to marry Hilda. And I lost my head. I hit him with a poker. I don't remember anything after that.
What about Brisbane?
It was a terrible mistake.
And MacDonald?
I still would kill him if I could.
There's your man, Sergeant. You made a fatal mistake, Reed, when you reached for that poker.
Somebody swiped my bracelets.
You dropped them in the pantry.
Oh. All right, Hennessy. Take down booking.
I want to thank you very much for your cooperation.
Not at all.
It was Sir Thomas I telephoned from your office, Markham. He very cleverly helped us stage this little scene. We have to thank the dog for the rest.
Well, we did it again, Mr. Vance.
Congratulations, Sergeant.
Thank you. I'll certainly mention you in my story to the papers.
Thank you.
Oh, that's all right, Mr. Vance.